start today by examining real quickly God's concept of marriage. And then we'll go into the organizational structure in proper. The first thing we must understand is that marriage, according to God's structure, according to God's concept, is good. Marriage is good. Genesis chapter 1 verse 31. It says that God saw everything that he had made, and behold, not just good, it was very good. So marriage is good. Marriage is not meant to be endured. It is meant to be enjoyed. God is a good God, and nothing bad can come from God. Oral Roberts used to say, God is a good God, and the devil is a bad devil. Everything good comes from God. Everything bad comes from the devil. So marriage is good. Marriage is not a necessary evil. Please take that out of your mind. Marriage is not the next step in life because that's what I must do. No. I want you to understand when we see what marriage is really about today. Marriage is ordained by God to be good because he has a purpose in mind for marriage. Number one concept, marriage is good. Number two, according to God's idea, marriage involves leaving father and mother. You must detach from your parental aprons to be married. You must gain independence to be married. You must be able to take decisions and accept the responsibility for the decisions that you make before you are mature enough to be married. Marriage is for the mature. That's why God did not say, a boy shall leave his father and mother and be joined to a girl. He said, a man shall leave and be joined to his wife. You must be able to detach and make decisions by yourself, not disrespecting your parents, honoring them, but also making them understand that you have become an independent person also. What do I mean? As a man, you must be careful because our parents love us. They do. Everything is from a good intention. I believe so. Be careful not to be your mother's husband. Because so many parents are parenting. Women are parenting from that space of hurt themselves. And they have made their sons their spouses. And it affects the children's marriages. You must be able to have an understanding of where the line is drawn. This decision is mine, and whatever happens because of that decision, I take responsibility for it. And it starts with now. The issue is that most parents want to see you take responsibility for small decisions before they can trust that you can make big decisions and take responsibility for it. So it starts now. It involves you living so that you can cleave. Until you live properly, cleaving will be a problem. Number three, what is God's concept of marriage? Marriage involves cleaving. After you have left, then and then only can you cleave. What does it mean to cleave? It means to be joined to somebody. Husband is supposed to cleave to his wife, and the wife is supposed to cleave to the husband. According to God's concept of this incorporation of marriage, there should be no leaving, only cleaving. And cleaving does not just happen in one day. I like God. God doesn't waste words. God could have just said, just cleave. But cleaving is a continuous thing. Why? It doesn't happen once and ends there. Continually, you must continue to work on your cleaving. But until you leave, you can't cleave. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Next one. What is God's concept of marriage? Two alone begin a home. So according to God's concept, God is not looking at premarital sex or pregnancy before marriage. Yes, even if it happens, God has a space for mercy for it. But according to God's design, it is Adam and Eve. God is a God of mercy, yes. But even though God brings healing, sometimes the scars still remain. And why God puts guardrails in place is to avoid us from having the scars of the negative decisions that we might make. So can God restore? Yes. But why do you want to have the scar if you don't have to have the injury in the first place? So God's idea is man and woman coming together to make a home. Not man and two wives. Not woman and two husbands. Not man, woman, and man. Because now the equation, according to the world, is very wide. God's idea, Adam and Eve, 1 + 1 to begin the home. Number 5, what's God's concept of marriage? God's concept is that marriage is two people becoming one flesh. Unity, spirit, soul, and body. Genesis chapter 5 and verse 2. Ephesians 5 and verse 29. According to God's design, male and female created he them, and he blessed them and called their name Adam in the day they were created. Ephesians 5:29. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but he nourishes it and cherishes it, even as the Lord, the church. So it means that if you are one flesh, God wants you to be in union together, to love one another, to take this one flesh mentality on, that you are me and I am you. And God doesn't provide for divorce or separation. Why? Because divorce or separation is literally like marital amputation. The life might still exist, but there is a limp in the walk. The person is not dead, but it's obvious that something has gone wrong. God wants us to be complete. God wants us to be whole. And that's why he's creating these guardrails in place to keep us from getting hurt. And second to last, number 6, what is God's concept of marriage? According to God's concept, maturity is required. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 22. And the rib which the Lord had taken from man, not from boy, he made a woman, and he brought her unto the man, not unto the boy. Man and woman, not boy and girl. When we talk about maturity, it's not just about age. Some people are 40 years old and very immature, while some are 20 and very mature. Maturity is not about age. Maturity is about the work you take to put your roots deep to create your foundation. We talked about foundation yesterday. That's what maturity is. Are you doing the work now to put your roots deep into the ground? What are you doing now spiritually? What are you doing now physically? What are you doing now emotionally? What are you doing now financially? Maturity is required in all of these areas for you to remain as one according to God's ordination. So before you think about marriage, ask yourself, am I mature spiritually? Am I mature physically? Am I mature emotionally? Am I mature financially? We're going to talk about money next. I got money. Financial maturity is required. And also physical stamina. I shan't spend time on that. It's required. Number 7. God's concept of marriage, finally, is that it is for life. It is for life. Until death do you part. The bond is not supposed to be dissolved. And that is why marriage is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Marriage requires endurance to keep yourself in the race. Marriage is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Let's go back to the next slide. Now that we understand what God's concept of marriage is, we realize that marriage is God's institution. Marriage is God's incorporation. So when I get married, it becomes my family name incorporated, founded on God and founded by God. Then I must understand that for my organization to succeed, these 3 things have to be understood. The organizational mission, the organizational vision, and the organizational values.